What to know before joining a coaching program. I personally love coaching programs. I think they're absolutely dynamo. No, I'm not trying to sell you on mine. I buy coaching programs. I bought two $2,000 coaching programs in the last year. I spent $4,000 paying coaches to help me. And I think everybody can benefit from them on one level or another, even if it's a very low entry email coaching. But that said, a lot of people approach getting coaching with the wrong mind state and in the wrong manner, and so therefore they don't get the results that they want. And so I'm going to give you some tips on finding the right coach, coming up with the right plan to get the most out of coaching, and really breaking down some stuff that's going to be very beneficial for you to help you get to that next level. So what to know about coaching? Let's start off with this. Are they knowledgeable or an expert in the subject? This is surprisingly not the most important thing. It's one of the least important things, but it's a good starting point because that's what everybody's thinking in their mind. I got to get the expert in email marketing if I want to be a good email marketer, and it's not that simple. But it is something that does help and is needed. It is required, okay? The trick in this case is, and this is a mistake a lot of people make when they're evaluating so-called experts, is you need to observe what they do more than you listen to what they say. I went on the Warrior Forum one day, a few months back. There was a so-called 7-figure copywriter who's made over $1 million in copywriting. He comes and he starts giving advice on what he believes is this great new copywriting or great new email marketing technique. And he's talking about, look at what Amazon and these big name companies do and how they market. You think they would do this? The trend's going to be in internet marketing that this is going to become more powerful, this type of marketing. And I emailed, and everybody jumped on the guru bandwagon. Oh, yeah, because you're a big name. Okay, I believe it. And I came in there, and I'm like, okay, show me some examples of some results where you've done this. Is this how you do your email marketing? I knew, because I was on his list, that he does even the bull crap of all bull crap marketing, the lowest kind of email marketing stuff that I don't even want to do. Just your cookie cutter-ish, most cookie cutter guru internet marketing email stuff. And so, he was giving you advice on stuff that he doesn't even do himself. That pissed me off because he's leading all these other people astray. So I set him straight. I was like, what? So don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. And that's how you determine if they're an expert or not. The other thing is what qualifies them. And what I mean by qualification is you don't need to be certified by anybody. The savviest street salesmen I know, they never took a class on salesmanship. So they just got it, all right? What qualifies them is their results. So look at some of the results and see what they have done for other people as well. And look at, how many sales letters have they written if they're going to teach you on sales, on copywriting? How many products have they created if they're going to teach you on product creation? How many articles have they written if they want to teach you on articles? What were the results of those articles? Because results are the name of the game. What's their click-through rates? How do they get this? How do they do that? They should be telling you the stuff in advance before you decide to say yes to their program. A lot of them won't sell you on their proof, though. Or if they do, the other thing to keep in mind is the few winners versus the many losers. Everybody can pull a case study out their ass of one person getting lucky, but is it replicatable? I have lots of coaching clients. What's the typical success rate for coaching clients? What's the typical client who takes their coaching? What results do they get? And like I said here, what do others have to say about their expertise? Can you contact other people who have taken coaching from them before and ask them some questions? You should, because they will tell you things that the guru or the coach won't tell you. They'll say, this is exactly what it was like working with this person. I'll give it to you straight. And then you can ask if they'd recommend that you take them up. And they'll tell you. You'll get more information asking other people who have taken this coaching in the past than you will any other thing. And the interesting thing about like that is if you ask them to talk to other people they've coached, and they say, I don't have anybody, then you better negotiate a very good rate contingent on results because they don't have a proven track record. So let's move on to the second thing. Not only do they have to know it, but can they teach what they know, okay? There's a difference between being able to do something and being able to teach something. Interesting enough, usually the best players in any professional sport are not the best coaches, okay? And so, with rare exception, the only exception that I really know to be true is Dan Gable. This guy was so genius in wrestling. He was probably the best wrestler that ever lived, and he was without a doubt the best wrestling coach alive. So not only could he do it, he could coach it too. He is one of the few exceptions. Let me give you some examples. Michael Jordan is a fantastic player, but is he a good coach? I wouldn't want him coaching my professional basketball team if I owned one. I'd rather have Phil Jackson. Now, was Phil Jackson a better basketball player than Michael Jordan? Not even close. But he is a damn better coach. So there's a different skill set. A coach like Phil was a pro player. Don't get me wrong, he's pretty good. But he was better at coaching than he was at playing. And, I see this in wrestling all the time. We'll get coaches that'll come in that they'll get hired because they were like a national champion in wrestling, or like they placed high in college, or they were like a 3-time state champ or whatever. And they come in, and these guys, while they know how to do what they do, they're absolutely terrible about teaching others how to do what they do. So it's not enough just to know and be an expert. You actually have to have the ability to communicate what you know in a way that will get other people to take action on it, okay? So what have they been able to do for others is very important. This goes again to the results. You want to look at what they have achieved. That's why I said I'd rather hire Phil Jackson than Michael Jordan, because Phil Jackson's got coaching results. So Michael Jordan's got playing results, but he does not have coaching results. So you want to look at that. That's not enough, though. Not only do they have to have the expertise, not only do they have to have the propensity to be able to teach others what they know, but they have to mix well. They have to have a similar personality as you do. I know teachers who are extremely knowledgeable, like in school, who also not only were knowledgeable, but they helped a lot of other kids that absolutely put me to sleep, because their learning strategy, or their teaching strategy, did not match well with my personality. So they'd be up there, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I want to shoot myself. I hate the way this person teaches." Not that I don't value their information, and I know that they can connect with a lot of people in their weird way. It just doesn't work for me personally. So do you mix well together? That's a very important thing. For example, an extrovert coach with an introvert person, not the best pairing. The introvert is kind of in their own head kind of thing. The extrovert's like social creature. You put these two together, it's going to not be the greatest mix in the world. One of the ones I like to use as an example is entrepreneurs and corporate executives. Corporate executives have very different agendas and very different mindsets. They cannot handle the real world entrepreneur day-to-day make or break depending on your action kind of everything's justified only by the result it brings in. They can't do that. But an entrepreneur is not better than them. It's just a different skill set. An entrepreneur can't handle the bottom line for the stockholders, manage a huge force of mid-level and low-level employees and handle all that stuff and, report to somebody else. An entrepreneur can't do a corporate executive's job very well, and a corporate executive can't do an entrepreneur's job very well. Very rarely does somebody have the skill set to do both of those, and that's okay. We're hardwired differently. So some people, they should be corporate execs. Some people should be entrepreneurs. But if your corporate exec mentality is paired with a coach that has an entrepreneurial mentality, that's not going to be the best match in the world, okay? So you want to find somebody who has similar values as you have. Basically, they have the results that you want, and they still have some of the values that you have, and they're going to give you the other values that you need, and you're going to be okay with that. So this is a person that not only they really teach you what they know, and not only are they an expert in it, but they can take you to the next level because they're really like you are. You like them. You like being around them. You really appreciate and respect what they do, and it engages you. So that's super important. And the final thing here, and this is so important too that people just don't get a lot of times, is habits are more caught than taught. What I mean by that, again, is by observation. My mentor, where he really helped me, is I used to paint houses with him, and I would watch how he would handle situations as they occurred, and I thought, oh my God, that's genius. He never told me about this. He never instructed me. He showed me through example. And I picked up on that. Just being around him, I started acting like him because I'd been around him so much. So I caught his habits. My brother, when he was alive, he would do this with me all the time. Like one day I told my mom, I said, "Yo, Mom, I'm going to write this letter and I'm going to do it in 5 minutes because I've already done it in my head. I can do this." And she's like, "Oh." okay, whatever. And I went out and did it. And my brother Ryan had never seen anything like that before. So the next time he had to do something, he did it like in no time flat. Because he goes, if Jason could do that, I can do that. I didn't teach him how to do that. I just did it. And he picked up my habit. And I showed him what was possible. So he went out and he did it as well. Okay, let's analyze what makes a coach the best coach. The best coaches ask more than they advise. So you want to work with somebody who's asking you a lot of questions before giving you advice. I never give advice until I've asked several questions, for the most part. And I'm not going to say never. But I was given a copywriting class one night, and I told people, I'm like, if you're ever going to do ad critiques, here's a very important lesson. Always ask what kind of response percentages they're pulling first before you start analyzing the ad. That way you don't look like an idiot when you tear this ad apart and you find out that it's pulling like at 11%. That happens to people. I see it all the time. And that's because your freaking ego got in the way. You thought, I'm the man. I can tell you everything you need to know. I don't do that. I ask first. One of the first thing I ask is, what's this product all about? What's the offer here? And then they tell me what the offer is. And I say, have you tested this? What kind of results are you getting from this? And then they tell me, and I say, what do you perceive is the limitation of the sales letter so that that's holding you back from getting the response percentages you want, if that's the case? And then they will tell me, and then I'll analyze it, and then I can tell them what I think based on that. So what I do first is I figure out what's going on in their head. And then I propose solutions to give them what they want. But unless I ask them, I have no idea what they want. So I'm asking usually a lot of questions before I even give advice. And then I'll ask a lot more questions to follow up. And typically, a person who needs help has what is called an impoverished model of reality, because they delete certain things from their reality, or they distort things in their reality in their own mind. So you can hear it in language. And so you'll always have to ask more information. So, for example, they say, I can't succeed. They have just given you a statement that has incomplete information. You can't succeed at what? You're succeeding at failing then, whatever. So you find that out, and they could say, nobody likes me. And then you say, who in particular makes you think that nobody likes you? See, they're deleting information. I'm just giving you some overall examples here. But most people, when they share something with you, they delete information, or they distort it, or they forget about it, or they don't mention it to you. So you have to ask them several questions to kind of get this whole picture, to see what's going on inside their head before you can give them advice to put in their head instead that's going to give them a different result. Okay? The best coaches create plans suited to your strengths. I cannot find your strengths until I figure out what they are by asking you questions. And again, it goes back to that. And then I have to develop something that's personally suited to your strength. Not everybody is motivated the same way, so it's stupid to teach everybody the same way. I remember Jimmy Johnson one time was talking about, if Emmitt Smith goes out and he's running a play and he fumbles the ball, he's not, no big deal. I don't bust his balls about it. But if I put in a B-level guy, a guy on the bench, and he goes up there and fumble it, I usually chew into him. Why? Emmitt Smith is there before everybody else is at practice. He's there after everybody else leaves. He works his ass off, and he does the things that nobody else is doing. That B-level guy might be sleeping during during the pep talks or whatever. He's not putting in the time Emmitt's putting in. So therefore, he's getting treated different than Emmitt. And that's another thing that Jimmy says. If Emmitt falls asleep during, like a practice when they're in the locker room, they don't bust his balls on that. But if some other guy does, they do, because Emmitt's the guy that worked harder than everybody else. He's their best player. So he is treated differently than somebody else is treated, because he has different strengths than other people have. And so they handle him differently than they handle somebody else, because they have their own plan for him based on his strengths. Okay, so you tailor-make your approach to the client. That's what the best coach does. And they know how to get inside your head, because there's gonna be times where you're just like, oh man, I can't get going, and the coach is going to be there for you, and they're going to get in there. They're going to figure out what motivates you to take action, and then they're going to talk in that language that will get you to take action using those specific motivators. That's what the best coaches do, and that's so valuable. This last one's very interesting. The best coaches want to get you results more than they want to be your friend. And there shouldn't be a question mark there, because that's an absolute statement. Boom. The they want to get you results more than they want to be your friend. I remember my mentor, he says, hey, you may hate me, but at least you respect me. Meaning that, hey, he's going to give it to you how you need to go. And he's going to push you harder than you've ever been pushed by anybody before in your life. And when you get pushed like that, will it piss you off? You're damn right it'll piss you off. Because nobody else has been that hard on you before. But they only push you. He only pushed me because he wanted me to get the results. Because he wanted to help me achieve my goals. More than he wanted to be my buddy. If you want to be buddies with somebody, then you can't push them that hard because they're going to get pissed off at you from time to time. Now, do I respect the hell out of him? Probably more than I respect anybody else in the world. Do I always want to hang around him? No, because he pisses me off a lot. But that was my mentor, and I attribute a lot of my success to him because he told me the things that nobody else would tell me. Everybody else, when I would be busting my ass working 12, 14-hour days to try to succeed in this business, they would say, you need a break, Jason. You're working too hard, Jason. Jason, why don't you take some rest? Or you're doing okay already, Jason. It's okay to take a break. But none of those people were successful as my mentor. My mentor would say, no, don't listen to them. Now is the time to work even harder when you got the momentum going. He goes, that's what they do. They take a break. Do you want to be like them? I was like, no. And he doesn't take a break either. He was like, bullshit. You push yourself till you can't go any harder. Then you will know your limitations. Then you will know it's time to take a break, but not before then. And so I was like, wow, that's very good information. And I found I could go even harder than I thought I could. Everybody else was telling me to stop because they had never pushed themselves hard. And that's sad because I did. And I've crammed 5 years of experience into 1 year. And so that's one of the reasons I got so successful so quickly. And the coach helps you do that, okay? What's your plan before getting into coaching? This is what you should know also before joining a coaching program is you got to have a plan, okay? If you don't have a goal going into the coaching program, you probably will not get your money's worth. Is it easy to hit a target that you don't know where it exists at? You don't go out there to the shooting range and shoot at the air. You have a target to hit. You got to do that with coaching. The other thing is you got to have realistic expectations. A lot of people think a coach is going to go in there and do all this thing for them and immediately change their life. No, a coach can only help you develop the strategies, but you personally have to utilize those strategies. So don't think you're going to rule the world once you get a coach, but do expect that over time you're going to get immense value for them. The real best solution is work with them to develop your own goals, not only your own plan of teaching, of how they're going to teach you and give you what you want, but their plan for helping you get the goals that you want. Because not everybody has the same goals. So if your coach knows what goals you have, can work with you, you guys can create a plan together so you can get the most out of their coaching. And that's what really good coaches do. Who needs coaching, finally? And like I said before, everybody does, but I broke it down into some interesting categories here so you can really see the benefits of knowing like how to create your plan and what you can get out of a coaching program. Everybody. What coaches can give you. This is why everybody needs coaching. The first thing they can give you, and this is just super duper valuable. Oops, let me move that over there. An outside perspective. Just a fresh set of eyes is so important. They see things that you don't see just because they're fresh. They got a fresh set of eyes. They have an objective view. You only see things from within. They see things from without. And so you kind of have this biasm because it's you doing it. But if they can paint it and objectively, then you look at it kind of through their eyes. You can say, oh, okay, I see what you mean. You're right. That's one of the other things they can give you. Kick in the ass is the third thing they can give you, and that's always great. There's going to be times when they get tough, and that's when you get pushed. That's when they say, all right, suck it up, do it. And like I said before, when I wanted to take that break and everybody's telling me to, he said, no, you can do more. And I did more, okay? A coach gives you accountability. You have somebody you have to answer to. And anytime you have somebody who you respect and who you're paying money for to answer to, you're going to get more stuff done, plain and simple, just because you don't want to let them down. A coach also gives you a chance to break habits because they challenge your habits. They say, why do you do things this way? And you say, I don't know, just do them that way. Well, let's try it this way instead. And so they force you to. Are you still doing it that way? Yeah, okay. What about now? Yeah, okay. What are the results you're getting? Oh, they're a lot better. Cool. Now keep that habit. The coach also gives you their insight that you can't get anywhere else, which we talked about. They give you situational advice. They can take their insights and apply them to your very specific situation, which is super invaluable. They give you a vent for frustration, meaning sometimes all you need to do is bitch for a little bit. And then when you're done, you're able to go back out there and get on with it. But if you don't have anybody to do that to, you don't get that value. So that's cool. The last thing is they give you a safety net. They just give you this peace of mind that whatever I do, if I go out there and blow it all up and mess it all up, I could turn to my coach and he'll help me figure out what to do next. So that's just another value. So there you have it. What to know before joining a coaching program. Use this next time you pony up the investment for a coach. Put this to use. Benefit from it. I'll see you on the blog. Thank you.